Well, a special group of war veterans from Wisconsin is in Honolulu this weekend. For some, it's the first trip to the island since Pearl Harbor was bombed 70 years ago. KITV4's Catherine Cruz caught up with them on one of their many stops today.
The veterans started and ended their day at Pearl Harbor.
The Japanese came in and
Their visit will be a one-hour documentary on Wisconsin Public TV and an ABC News special. They came in wheelchairs. Most are in their 90s. The youngest is 89. They posed for a group photo. Their hearts were heavier, not just because of the scars of war, but because one in their group was too frail and died on the plane trip over.
Too bad something like that had to happen. He never did get to his destination.
The Old Glory Honor Flight Return to Pearl tour made a mid-afternoon stop at the Home of the Brave Museum. It was a lighthearted walk back in time, a blast of sights and smells stirring the senses. Soldiers, sailors, and Marines were young again, climbing into military jeeps they once knew so well.
The collection that you see in the museum is probably the largest and most unique collection in the Pacific, as everything has been donated by veterans and their families over the past 20 years.
The visit was a first for Ken Sweet, who's proud to say he's been back to Hawaii 15 times.
Well, I stayed in the military. I spent 40 years in the Air Force. And the first time I came back was in 1965.
It was George Bellaire's first trip since the 1940s.
Came back from Japan in 46. We stopped Pearl Harbor for overnight. Stayed on board ship and then went back to San Francisco.
Aging veterans eager to see a place of their past get their wish to return to Pearl and more. Catherine Cruz, KITV4 News.
Now, as a tribute to Mark Shetland, the one veteran of the group who didn't survive this last journey across the Pacific, an American flag was flown at half-staff at Schofield and Wheeler. And tonight at Pearl Harbor, an empty wheelchair was draped with a flag marking the group's visit to the Arizona Memorial.